Guyana's infrastructural landscape is set to undergo a radical shift as the government seeks to implement its ambitious transformative agenda. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali recently disclosed that his government will be utilizing a three-tiered approach to Guyana's transformation. This agenda, the head of state said, will guarantee an improved quality of life for all citizens, targeting communities, regions, and the country as a whole.
At the community level, there is great transformation that will take place. That is improvement of healthcare system, improvement of road networks, educational facility, sports facility, and you will see a great segment of this budget that will target these community needs. That is one tier. Let's call it tier one.
Tier 1 will also see the creation of growth opportunities or growth hubs within a cluster of communities. This, President Ali said, can generate employment and create sustainable development.
And then you move towards tier 2. Tier 2 now, when you go to tier 2, is the regional development. So we move from community to regional development. Regional development is where we have, for example, the regional development plans. How do we see the development of regions taking place? And what are the key areas, the key investment opportunities in various regions?
Tier 3 includes the national transformative projects.
At the regional level in Region 3, you have a national transformative infrastructure that is linked to a regional development infrastructure. That is a new 4-lane road from Porica, going from the Harbour Bridge going all the way to Porica, opening up of Wales as a Wales Development Authority, the landing of the gas to shore pipeline in Region 3 to Wales. Onshore, which will have a big industrial development taking place there that is linked to not only power generation, a power plant, but we're looking at the possibility of a protein plant. We're looking at LPG. These are all going to be spin-off. Can you understand the massive transformation that will take place in that region?
The administration has already received expressions of interest from companies both locally and internationally for the building of the new Demerara River Bridge. The bridge will stretch from Lagrange to Nandi Park. It will be a fixed high-span structure featuring 4 traffic lanes. The new bridge will feature 6.6 kilometers of additional road links, mainly on the western bank of the Demerara River, to connect to the road network. Phased development of the Porica Stelling will enable continued operation during construction and includes a terminal building, vehicle marshalling shelter, and a commercial building. Additionally, the dredging of the Demerara River Channel will enable larger ocean-going vessels to enter Port Georgetown and support the shore-based activities of the oil and gas sector. There are also plans to modernize the fleet of ferry vessels to reduce travel time and boost trade. The 56-kilometer road will run from Del Conte east bank of Essequibo through Monkey Jump before ending at Bartica by way of a 700-meter bridge across the Essequibo River. At Goshen, a roadway will also be constructed to free and easy on the west bank of Demerara, creating an alternative route to the existing roadway from the Demerara Harbour Bridge to Porica. This road will link Region 3 and Region 7 and will support the mining, forestry, and tourism sectors. Additionally, the Linden to Lethem Road will connect to a deep water port in Region 6, which will facilitate international shipping. The investments and economic opportunities the head of state highlighted will create a population push. He pointed out that this will be supported by the administration's housing program. The goal is to build 25,000 homes and provide 50,000 house lots within the next 5 years. The PPPC government, upon assuming office in August 2020, inherited a massive backlog of house lot applications from the APNU AFC coalition. However, through its Dream Realized Housing Initiative, in just only 4 months, the government was able to distribute 3,600 titles. Plans are already on stream for infrastructural development in several new housing schemes. The government is looking at sustainable housing programs that will create jobs, greater demands for services, areas for growth, and avenues for affordable housing. This is being done through collaboration with private financial institutions, housing developers, and contractors. The removal of value-added tax on building and construction materials and the increase in mortgage interest relief from $15 million to $30 million were implemented to further encourage home ownership among the nation's youth and young professionals.
What you will see from housing alone, the development, the trickle-down effect, the transformation from housing alone will be something to celebrate and something for us to be proud of. What I feel great about is the level of private sector dynamism in entering the housing market. The enthusiasm from the private sector in putting in capital, private capital, to support the housing drive and housing development over the last 5 months is enormous. And I think with this type of partnership and collaboration, we'll be having an exciting transformation in terms of housing and housing development. Not only local private sector, but regional private sector.
Further, 22 new housing areas have been identified and tendered for land preparation and construction of access roads. This was initiated to fast-track the 2021 housing program. A number of private sector initiatives are also expected to propel the transformative push.
The government is determined to ensure that Guyanese from across all socio-economic backgrounds gain access to potable water, which is in keeping with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 6, to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Several projects have been completed for water expansion services in both hinterland and coastal regions. While the government expands the country's water distribution network, it is also upgrading water treatment plants across the nation.
A National Information Technology Master Plan has been discussed, where the administration will not only focus on e-governance but e-services as well. This initiative will see the swift move to a paperless environment and the creation of a national platform where citizens will benefit from efficient and transparent government services. The PPPC administration will also be restarting the One Laptop per Family initiative, which will support its goal for the ICT sector and bring Guyanese on par with international standards. A national energy plan is also in the making and includes the use of solar energy. President Ali said solar energy will be tied into the grid in the Essequibo Islands of Leguan and Wakena.
We have a national energy plan that is looking at reducing the cost of energy by almost 50 to 60%, making Guyana now a competitive area for manufacturing within the region, for packaging and processing, and integrating the opportunities in all these islands and communities with that national energy plan.
The liberalization of the telecommunications sector will also create job opportunities for thousands of Guyanese.
How do we aid household income? Increasing household income. And that is new income I'm talking about. So you have a lot of women and men who are not employed, a lot of women who are homemakers. They now can have an opportunity to work in call centers. That is what liberalization would help us to do. Increase our competitiveness in terms of the cost of bandwidth, which will bring more call center business here. We have already started in Tushin, where we have one of the major companies agreeing to set up there that will create about 120 jobs.
The head of state is assuring all Guyanese that opportunities will be created in every region and in every sector. A national aquaculture master plan will soon take shape and will have its root in Region 5. Further, the agriculture sector will be diversified and, importantly, the sugar industry will see transformative changes. Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, highlighted some of the administration's plans for the sector.
We cannot continue to produce raw brown sugar and expect Guyanese people to survive. Now is the time we have to go into other forms of production. We have to go in other value-added production. For example, in the Caribbean, we can tap into the Caribbean market where there are need for over 200 tons of refined sugar. We plan to do that. We plan to diversify. We plan to ensure that we go to value-added product, and we also plan to develop our other industries around the sugar industry.
In the education sector, Minister the Honorable Priya Manikchand said plans to secure 20,000 online scholarships are moving apace, even as the government works to ensure that more education opportunities are made available locally. Speaking at an event back in December 2020, the minister disclosed that the Commonwealth of Learning and Coursera have collaborated to offer more free online courses for Guyanese in specialty areas.
This ties in very neatly with the PPPC's manifesto promise that we were going to provide online learning opportunities, at least in the number of 20,000. Just as a quick update, so if we were to actually count this, we've already had 32,000 certificates in an online learning environment for 8,000 persons for free. So there was no cost attached to the persons who benefited from this. That manifesto promise is being taken seriously, and I'm happy to report, and will report in a little bit more detail, that we are working with several universities, including the Indira Gandhi University, the University of the West Indies, the University of Guyana, to see how we can build out a program that will offer the 20,000 online, at least 20,000 online opportunities that we spoke about.
In the health sector, the PPPC government has already started expanding primary healthcare services and upgrading health facilities across the country, including the expansion of diagnostic services. President Ali also spoke of the plan to modernize this sector, bringing the local health institutions in line with internationally accredited standards. The administration also intends to expand the range of medical personnel, including doctors, postgraduate specialists, nurses, pharmacists, medical technologists, and technicians and other support staff. Meanwhile, the tourism sector is experiencing heightened focus with expressions of interest already submitted to government by renowned hotels like the Hyatt Hotels Corporation, the Radisson Hotels, and the Hilton Hotels and Resorts, among many others, to start operations in Guyana. On November 23, 2020, a memorandum of understanding was signed for the construction of a US $90 million Hilton Hotel at Houston Macdoom, East Bank, Demerara. Minister the Honorable Onij Walron, Chief Executive Officer of Go Invest, Dr. Peter Ramsarup, and Chairman and CEO of Total Tech, Mr. Lars Mangal, signed the agreement. More than 25 Guyanese contractors and suppliers are expected to be involved in the execution of the work, which will bring significant spin-off benefits to hundreds of Guyanese. The 289-room hotel will include the 161-room Hilton Garden Inn and 128 suites. It will feature a variety of on-site dining options, conference facilities, a pool, and 24-hour fitness facility, while bringing the best of modern, smart, Scandinavian, minimalistic concepts to Guyana.
New hotels that are coming in stream. Within this 5 years, conservatively, we should have at least 5 hotels up and running. So that's another area of transformative, in a transformative agenda that is pushed by the private sector. Heavy private sector investment with good support from government. We are also supporting private healthcare and private education to make it globally competitive so that we can become we can have foreign currency earning from these services, creating a hub for health and educational services. And we are seeing a lot of appetite already from the local private sector in building these specialty facilities.
Meanwhile, Senior Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, the Honorable Dr. Ashni Singh, noted that a large number of EOIs from local and international investors to develop hotels here will lay the foundation for a dynamic hospitality industry.
Which of course is consistent with the heightened international interest in Guyana as an oil and gas producer, but is important also to leverage our natural endowment of remarkable ecotourism attributes. The main point that I would want to make is that Budget 2021 is going to be the occasion on which we will in a more comprehensive way outline our strategic vision for the country and launch many of the major strategic initiatives and major projects that will see the transformation of Guyana.
Several of these massive transformational projects will be realized through collaboration with international partners and neighboring countries. On November 24, 2020, the governments of Guyana and Suriname signed a memorandum of understanding for the construction of a high-span bridge over the Corentyne River, linking the two countries. When constructed, the bridge will serve as a permanent physical link between the people of Guyana and Suriname, but more importantly, that link to the rest of the South American continent. President Ali said the bridge will create a new logistics hub which is linked to the development of the private sector.
The administration has recognized the enormous benefit that this can bring in the area of tourism, transportation and trade. The two countries have expanded discussions and have agreed to promote each other's business and tourism opportunities. The expectation is that the proposed road alignment will create the possibilities for a free trade zone, enhanced land value, reduced cost of doing business, and greater ease of doing business.
Guyanese living abroad will not be left out of this transformative process. President Ali has said that the administration is creating an enabling environment should they choose to return home and invest. The head of state said the government intends to provide advanced services to encourage people to return home. He believes that overseas-based Guyanese have been and continue to contribute to Guyana's economic advancement.
With the emerging oil and gas sector and the type of investment that we are making to not only strengthen the traditional sector but to open new areas and new opportunities, we see great potential for the diaspora to bring their resources, the capital resources, back here. For a matter of fact, we're also discussing now financial instruments through which we can have all categories and levels of the diaspora involved and integrated in the development of our country.
The government is committed to not only creating the policy environment that is conducive for this rapid development, but also the supportive infrastructure such as roads and bridges.
The President has spoken also about his vision for infrastructure, connectivity with Brazil, connectivity with Suriname, and what that will mean in terms of, regional hemispheric integration, but also catalyzing economic activity. If Brazilian companies can literally drive to the Guyana coast and use the deep water harbor in Guyana, if Surinamese companies can do likewise, it potentially dramatically increases the economic space and the market opportunities for domestic companies.
One of government's main objectives is to link the hinterland with the coastland via a robust road network. The Linden to Lethem Road, which is 454 kilometers of unpaved gravel road, will be transformed to an all-weather surface and include the reconstruction of all the bridges to international standards.
This will create massive opportunities to move container cargo from the landlocked northern states of Brazil. It will also see the opening of thousands of acres of undeveloped land for massive agro-processing and non-traditional crops such as soya and corn. Overland links to eco-ranches and pristine rainforests to propel the tourism industry will also be created. The possibility of a railway parallel to the corridor is also being explored.
Additionally, the Soesdijk-Linden Highway, which links Georgetown with the mining town of Linden, will be upgraded. Settlements are strung along both sides of the road, and this improvement will facilitate international trade among communities and faster communication. The Kurupukari Bridge is also part of the Linden-Mabura development package. It is envisioned to be an elevated long-span concrete bridge which will complete connectivity by bridging our main waterways. It replaces a pontoon with uninterrupted travel for persons between regions 9 and 10 and even further into Brazil. The bridge is a key element along the corridor to support the movement of cargo from Brazil to the intended deep-water port in Region 6. Meanwhile, the Amaila Road will be resuscitated to facilitate the 165-megawatt hydropower plant.
The East Coast Demerara Railway Embankment Road is another thoroughfare set for major upgrades spanning 18.5 kilometers from Sheriff Street to Enmore. The roadway will serve as an alternative route to the east coast of Demerara. The project seeks to achieve structural enhancements of the road to support heavy-duty vehicles, improve pavement condition, road safety, and performance of key junctions.
On the main road, that highway is to be further extended from Belfield to Rosignol, West Berbice. The upgrade of the Lethem Airdrome to a regional airport is also on the cards. This project has been initiated to take advantage of the demand for international travel and trade with Brazil, Suriname, and the Caribbean. It also seeks to boost business and ecotourism in the Rupununi. Added to this, government will also be upgrading the 120 airstrips across the country, which will enable ease of travel, greater access to services, and support the tourism, trade, and health sectors. A major land project is the establishment of the East Bank East Coast Demerara Road linkage. The feasibility study has been executed with Phase 1 expected to stretch from Ogle to Higgs Bosch, Eccles. Phase 2 will link Eccles to Diamond, and Phase 3 will link Guyana's 2 international airports, namely the Chedijagan and Eugene F. Correa International Airports. This opens the lands for the establishment of major hotels along those links. The PPPC administration has committed to creating the enabling environment and providing incentives for businesses by removing obstacles to growth, a step which it has already taken with the implementation of 40+ measures that will improve the performance of various sectors as well as the livelihood of all Guyanese. Further, government is offering a fiscal regime that encourages investment, providing an empowering regulatory framework in which businesses can operate in a globally competitive manner. These initiatives and more are all part of its transformative agenda that will see Guyana becoming a modernized state.